Dreamscape presents Be With Me by Jules Bennett, narrated by Eldridge. Chapter 1. You're allowed to scream, you're allowed to cry, but you're never allowed to give up. Mel's Motivational Blog. If there was ever a time for cocktails, it was now. On the flip side of that, Melanie Ramsey couldn't drink. Her drinking days were over, at least for the next 7 months and 2 weeks, because this morning she'd had 2 thin blue lines staring her in the face. Still, she found herself in the wine aisle of Quickie Mart, choosing a bottle for her best friends, because they were certainly going to need it when she broke the news to them. What paired well with dropping a bomb like an unplanned pregnancy? Blush? Red? Considering she'd had white the night of the greatest sexual experience of her life, which had landed her here, she chose the only white that was available from this dismal selection. Mel. Her fingers curled tighter around the neck of the bottle. She knew that voice. She'd replayed over and over how he'd whispered it in her ear as he'd had her pressed her against the door in the foyer of his house. For the past 6 weeks, she'd done a remarkable job of dodging him after their one-night stand. What had she been thinking? She wasn't a one-night stand type of girl. Then again, if they all were with men like Officer Tanner Roark, she might have to reconsider. Holy smokes, that man knew how to pleasure a woman. But playtime was over, and now they both would have to face the consequences. However, now was not the time to tell Tanner that he was going to be a daddy. She was still grasping the life-changing fact herself. After their night together, she hadn't known how to handle a situation so foreign to her. Unfortunately, avoiding him had become her go-to method, until she thought of something better. Dodging Tanner had been quite a feat, considering her best friend was marrying his cousin. But Melanie had been busy, and apparently so had Tanner, because he'd done little more than text. Maybe he'd only wanted one night, too. She'd heard of his widespread reputation as Haven's most sought-after bachelor. Melanie had thought for certain they'd been on the same page. She'd only wanted a safe man.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?